Hey, 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 amazing, beautiful people. How are you? Welcome on in. Good to see you. Good to see you. All right, here we go. Welcome on in, everybody. Hopefully, you're hearing me loud and clear. And usually, if you are, you guys usually let me know. I Cherish Church, Cassie, Cassie's Kitchen Creations with a K. I Cherish Nurse Network. Howdy. Who used to say howdy? All right, guys. So I have some sleepy time lemon zinger. Might be too late for that. But I think we are going to go with the hibiscus tea. I just couldn't decide which one I wanted, but at the last minute, I figured it out. Well, how are you all doing? Hello to you, and to you. It's great to have you guys here. Memorial Day at the time of this recording, and we pay our respects to we pay our respect to those who have gone ahead, who have sacrificed. And I get a little bit emotional about it because there are people out there who truly believe in our freedom and liberty. Hold on. Let's try it. Let's hope. Let's try again. Can you guys hear me? Took a while for it to kick over. There we go. Can you hear me, Nitya? You guys hear me? I Cherish Church. Sometimes it takes a little bit for the microphone to chip over. So you got it? You can hear me now? Great. All right. So what I was mumbling about was the tea. I couldn't decide what kind of tea I wanted. And so it's the hibiscus tea. So lots been going on, beautiful people. Oh my gosh, Nitya, I was listening to you today. I was getting work done. It's productive music. It's beautiful. And then the last one, I had to turn it off. I mean, Abundance is over there doing her thing, right? Abundance is over there. So I'm like, turn the audio down. Oh my God, I'm gonna be late. But the music was so relaxing. I didn't even know if I was coming or going. So it's great to see you guys. Great to be here. That was a great live by Lashana, really inspirational. And as you can tell, you see her passion in this for our community. And I really, really appreciate her and the work that she's doing. It's, as Nima would say, it's phenomenal, right? It's phenomenal. And that's what we do. We support each other. And I believe that there are lots of things that we are doing. We're doing this thing because we love it. I actually really love it. I really like coming on live here, and I'm thankful and grateful. Listen, I got to say thank you to all those of you who've watched my. Yes, her music is great. It's great, especially if you're doing work. Nitya's music today, I just felt, I was like, no, don't stop it. No, don't stop it. And then I'm like, oh, okay, I could go to the recording. But yeah, it's just great music. I think it's great music to focus, to concentrate, to study. And the first one, the one before this was the productive, but really good. So good stuff. She's just so super talented. That's her superstar, rock star. Just gotta say me, yes. But yeah, so much is happening and lots of information that's going all throughout the airwaves. So I'm thankful and I'm grateful for this. And I want to say this, and I think I've said it before. And Lushana, she alluded to this thing that this is fun, but it's also a business and should be treated as such. What we're doing here, it is a business, guys. And just like I always say, just like how people invest in their banners and all those cute little things, you may want to invest in understanding your what you have as a business. And she dropped some really great gems there. It's going to require those of you to delve in a little bit more to understand how all of that works, because it's really important. I used to put out the consultant thing out there, and I don't do it anymore because I don't think people really know. They when you will really see that this thing is a business, and it can be, and you got to understand how to run a business. Got to understand certain things of it. And I say, find out, try and get the information that you can, because sometimes one of those sessions will give you information that could actually save you or make you thousands of dollars. If that made sense, somebody, if you heard me, um, just drop a one in the chat. Let me know if you kind of heard what I'm saying here, that this thing is a business, and one has to just get a little bit, because entrepreneurship is not really taught, you know. Els Endeavor, how are you? It's Marvella. Hey, hey, hey. Yeah, entrepreneurship is not really taught. And that's why when people ask me, where did RN to CEO come from? Yes, it's being the CEO of you, taking care of yourself, but it's recognizing you need to nurture yourself and your business. And guys, go find somewhere where you can go and invest and get some information on business, because this really is. I finally did that thing over the weekend to sign up for, what is it called, the super chat and all of that stuff. So I actually did it. I finally did it after, I think, since April 6th. I just really didn't have the time. I know somebody asked me, was it difficult? I was like, no, it's just something you just need to sit down for like 20 minutes. And I didn't have 20 minutes. And I was traveling, and I was in one of the airport lounges, and I said, okay, I checked in early, 2 hours early. And I was just like, woosah. And then, of course, I had to pull up my computer, and I said, let me just do a little something, something. So that gave me some time. And by the time I got back here, the grandbabies were here. So this life is pretty busy. But yeah, we just have to be intentional about, the idea of your channel. How many people are number two? Just drop a two. How many people are intentional about what they're doing? And guys, when it comes to business, don't the more you play, and I wouldn't say play, the longer you take to get the information streamlined, it's the more it's going to actually cost you. And that's the best thing I can tell anybody. Go where you can get the information. And really, when you see, because when I signed up for this, I didn't sign up under me, I signed up under my business, right? So I just sat there, did what I needed to do, forgot about it, and said, oh, I hope I did fill out everything. So it's all good. So that was pretty cool. Yeah, go and find out, because a business is a business is a business. We may all do, sometimes it may seem as if we're doing different things, but a business is a business is a business, right? So it doesn't matter what your niche is if you are like when some people are talking, I can understand the language what they talk, because entrepreneurship, I'm really thinking purposely, it's really not taught. How many people believe that? Drop a three. Entrepreneurship is really not taught, and it's maybe there's a reason for it. And so that's why we have other nurses who are in business, like myself, who have built business, created businesses, um, had other people, not just nurses, create very lucrative business. Some have left bedside, some use it for whichever way they want to. And that's what I try to get to people. Your business is God's House of Prayer Ministries. And your business, and whether it's go ahead, Marvella. And whether it's a nonprofit or for profit or whichever way, whatever it is, I know I Cherish Church was doing some things there, right? Um, you still got to know the operations, the marketing, the finances, all the different levels in business. And even when I listen, I'm going to tell you guys truthfully, when I listen to a lot of the gurus and the people who are doing well, who are making multi six figures and seven figures, same thing that I learned, same thing that I taught. it's understanding it is and a business, and it will require doing that. So whatever the intentions are for your channel and whatever it is that you do, it is going to require that. Never try to figure, like I said, we're all doing things. Look, for example, Marvella, she said God's House of Prayer Ministries, and she's running a business. So there's certain fiscal responsibilities that she has for her business, right? And we have Cassie's Kitchen Creations with a K, right? She has, later on, she'll have her books, her cookbook and other things that she's going to be working on. Nitya has the music side of things and the writing and the publishing and the ownership, guys. And that's what I'm telling folks. So that's why I don't really do it anymore. It's always taught. However, I learned early on, not always taught, right? That is true, Els Endeavor. It's not always taught, because if you were to teach every nurse to move about entrepreneurship, but now we own our own practices, we own our own spas, we own our own agencies, right? And so it's the mindset and the information that you can get. And whenever it's presented to you with somebody who has done that for a minute or two, right? Always try to take advantage of that opportunity, because like I said, it's streamlined in such a way you could get the information that you need. And whether your business is like, LaShawn would say, whether your business was from your home, I have too, a brick and mortar and my home. So there must be some things that I've known over the years, right? Some things that I've garnered to understand why you can do certain things. And I think it's worth spending the time doing that. Valentine, hey, it's good to see you. I mean, if this guy if I'm making sense, school districts are now incorporating the information. Yes, they're incorporating it in classes. And I really think that it's important that people understand it. But also, you got to have the heart of an entrepreneur, because there's some moments like, baby, let me get back to that. How many thousand they were paying? There was a point. Yes, I have a few friends who are RNs and then pivoted. Yeah, because many of them own their spa. But the thing was, some of you who have probably, if you follow me on Instagram, and maybe if you go in my heading, the link in the bio, you'll see some of the testimonials. These were people who just came with a thought. There's a dream. And one of the things I think, big about entrepreneurship, that what somebody does, one has to be, especially you need people with integrity that really celebrate you for who you are. Valentin Aviles is in the house, Junior. Thank you for showing up. Merita Shades of Light, thank you for showing up. Hey, and so all of this is it's really, it's important that we're taught, that we understand, we understand with business. And so I thrive in those environments. Yes, tell them, Marvella, it's lots of work, because and if you have two, it's like almost like double of everything, because there's certain principles one has to understand. So yeah, it is work. Yeah. And like I said, whether it's for profit or nonprofit or not for profit, as people would say, a not for profit doesn't mean that you don't profit. It's just, we just file as nonprofit. We know certain little other technical stuff with it too, but it still requires all of that work. And I Cherish Church, I did look up the 508c1a, and I kind of understand it a little bit. So it's like almost like under an umbrella. Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, sometimes just drop a heart or something, because after a while, yeah. So yes, it does. So you'd have to look at what you want to do. Like I Cherish Church, I looked up yours and I understand how it works. And collectively, that's a pretty smart way of how they choose to do that. I think the individual gains more from it, and it's done collectively. Whatever they're doing something. Am I correct? I Cherish Church Network. It is done collectively. Yeah, it is done collectively, and I thought it was pretty cool. I Cherish Church, so I read up on it, and I was like, okay, I think I've heard about this before, but then I got it. Yeah, it's nonprofit, but it's done collectively. And whenever they do something, it's done in a collective way. I don't want to call out any institution, but it's rather they're very smart how they choose to do it. And it's almost like a win-win, but somebody would have to be comfortable under, like I said, that umbrella. And there are those for churches, they got, let me stop talking here, but they got their own bank and everything. They got everything. Yes, yes. All right. Okay. Yes. And so that's the thing. And that's the thing, what you just said there, I Cherish Church, and we are not given any medical or tax advice, none of that. A lot of this, when you have a business, folks, people thinking it's costing them, but it decreases a few things. It decreases a lot of things. And I think when people get a chance to really understand how it works, it would really blow your mind. It really would. And I always tell people, invest in the other stuff, the banners and all those little things, but invest in getting the information that's needed, because they're information that sometimes just a few minutes will give you what you need and turn you in the right direction. And be willing, guys, really willing to do that on your own. Not to say that people aren't, but it will make a difference. So that's, when I talk about some of the things that no one tells you, and that's why some of the books, I don't know if Els Endeavor, if you were able to get the book, some of the books that I shout out, there's a reason why I give that, because a lot of information is in those books, a lot of information. The podcasts that you're listening to, you got to diversify how you go out there, engage, yes, but also diversify what you need to know, that information there. And some of the information is just a tip of the iceberg. So when I am listening to them, I know these people and I'm like, wow, they've gotten to the point where they've made the investments in themselves. That's why they can come back and give you that information. But to also be privy and to be on top of it, it's really helpful for you. So, that's one of the things that I really want to say, if that works. What's Nitya doing and you're laughing at? But yeah. Yeah, because I read up on it and I was like, okay, okay, you know. And part of the things that they do with that, I think, like, if, for example, if you guys are getting like insurance and stuff, it's really more collective. But like I said, it may not be for everybody. That's the thing. It's Marvella said, when I started my corporation, no one helped me. I had to go dig in and get the information for myself. And that's the thing of it. Sometimes too, you just need enough, because I'm telling you guys, the information is there. But sometimes you just need enough. Like Marvella said, I had to go digging for it, because very few people will give you the information. Sometimes you may not even know the questions to ask, right? Yes. And everything I do here, guys, I don't know if many of you do. I don't even talk about it here, but it's been more than since 2012. Oh my God, how many years is that? I've been I'm a master business coach, y'all. I just don't talk about it when they put that lingo with it. Um, but yeah, it is what it is. This is the thing I would tell you. You see now, Lydia, you've had tea with me twice. You've had tea with me twice. And really, um, with the questions that you need to ask for your business, of course, that's information that's out there. You can always hire your children. you can always hire the children. Like I said, get the information that you need to streamline what you're doing. And who said it? Mark Cuban. If you're going to start a business with a loan, I would never advise that. I would never advise it. And people will say, how am I going to start a business and I don't have money? I would never advise anybody to go and take a loan to start a business, because you got to first know how to run a business. Because there are going to be the ups and the downs, and you're going to have to be certain of what do you want to do to make the money to come in to pay the bills for the business. So of course, you can speak with your CPA and they can explain that to you, how you can hire the children. Yeah, you can actually do that. Yeah, so you can hire your children, right, Els? I said that. She can hire them, but I always, no, it's not. No, we're giving you the information right here. That's what I'm telling people. You want to be structured. First of all, I run a business, and one has to be clear. Why do you want to run? Why do you want to run a business? What are some of the things that you do with your business, and why I chose to run businesses? And I would tell people, you are your first investor. If this is making sense, drop a two. This would have been your third T. Yes. But what I'm saying, you'd have to know why you want to run that business. And then you say, oh, this is what I want to do. And why I chose to open, my businesses, or a business way. And I know that there's certain things that I want to give back. When I come here, this is part of giving back. Through my ministry, my prayer ministry, it's giving back. When I go on the missions, it's giving back. And other things that I do privately that I don't say. So there's so many different ways in your business. Well, like, why do you want it? What does it do? What is the information I need? And once you get that information and you say, oh my gosh, okay, I just got this. Here's what I need to go and execute, right? So the information is there. It is. All of those things, Els. Yeah. And that's what people have to understand, because you can't, do a lot of that stuff. And that's why I thrive in those environments, because you will find out that it really decreases some of the things that you do and how you do it. You can do it in a way, and everybody's right, else everybody's situation is different. So that's why I feel people should have those conversations, because the moment you step in that direction and you sow your time, and this is how I'm very careful or talk about business, because it may seem as if I'm coming off a certain way. I just go into a different zone. Are the mission jobs for health educators? These missions, they're for people in the health field. We've had all types of people. They don't have to be health related. We've had engineers, we've had all types of people who are good with adding information into the computer. So it doesn't have to be you pay your own air in your own hotel. If you have your business, either you leave somebody to run it, or you close it down, or you switch out. So it's everything that you're doing when you go on those missions, you're doing them. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I see what you're saying. Yeah. And so, yeah, all the missions, you're volunteer, you're giving your time, your money, or whatever you decide to do. So they're not just for that. Everybody's situation is different. So I've had people who have started from their concierge to their coaching businesses to I've worked with therapists. I've worked with all types of people. And I'm telling you, these folks, I don't care if I've had clients with PhDs, DNPs, all of those things. They just weren't taught entrepreneurship. You get what I'm saying? And when once you've dabbled in it, like it's Marvella said, you bump into it, you have to go dig, and once you dabble into it and you say, okay, this is that, and then you go to where you need the information, then you know how to execute it and allow it to work for you. One of the things I do know about business, it requires you sowing into the business, and so your business is um, is your first investor, right? It's your first, right? Self-sponsored is your first investor. So to start, I worked double shifts. I worked 16-hour shifts. I would work before I go on a mission. I would do consecutive 60-hour weeks. That's when I was younger and I could do that, right? And I would work those 60-hour shifts, maybe 2 weeks in a row, and then leave to go work on a mission for 5 days, come back, and 2 days later I'm at work. I'm like, why am I doing this? I had to learn how to pace myself. But while I was building other things, I used my money, whether it was for coaching, whether it was for consulting, whether it's for to start my business, to register my business. And that's why it's good to have a conversation, especially with a CPA or someone before you actually start or register that business, because they could tell you there's a time is of the essence of how you can choose to do everything and how you'll be able to do that. And you are your investor. So the business requires that. And it will not grow, guys. I'm going to tell you, it will not grow in bits and pieces, because that's how you're going to get it, bits and pieces. I'm thinking about pivoting to online English teaching with the Bible and conversational English. Yeah, and you could do, what is it? English is a second language. I don't know how you do. You want to do it for adults? And there's just so many ways, things online that you can do, especially if you chose through what you've already done along with education and ministry. That's a win-win there. Yes, it's Marvella said, yes, I still work hard for my ministry. I have a ministry. I never registered it as a 501c3. There was a reason why I didn't do it when I first started. And I looked at it because nobody owns a 501c3, Hunte. Nobody owns it. And there's some people, you got your board of directors, you got you got things up in there, you got bylaws, you got all of those things, but nobody owns it. So I was like, you know what? We're not going that direction right now. I just don't want to have any with any folks, right? So in English as a second language, yeah. And you could, I mean, if that's something you are passionate about and you want to do it, you could stay right here in this country and do that, overseas if you wanted to. Yeah, and it's work. So my ministry is just a prayer ministry. Amazing things I've been able to do with it. When nobody believed in it, I invested thousands of my own money working as a nurse, because I'd have to work like an extra day or something, thousands of my own money that did not affect the home money because I believed in it. And I'm going to tell you, like when you say it's Marvella, nobody will tell you anything. That was true. I had one mentor, and up to this day, I am so thankful for him. I would do my Caribbean and, the banquets and all of this. It's like doing a wedding, all of these things. You're responsible for the food, the linen, the this, the marketing, getting people in there, and all of that stuff. And there was information that I need, Els and everyone here. And I really, if I really knew what I was doing, I would have done LLC. You can. And yes, you can do that. You can leave that as is. It depends on how you choose to do that. You can leave that as is, but you can also have the 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 for profit that can really, and that's where the CPA comes in. I tell people, save your coins and just get the information. Go get it from the horse's mouth. Get the information, and it will blow your mind. And you'll be like, "What have I been doing this whole time?" But one has to be ready, ready for it. And I think, it is. So get the information from people who have actually either done it or speak to those that that's what they do, because once you get it, then it makes sense. It's great that we can, share all the information here. And I'm being very careful because I'm not going to tell anybody, go do this, go do that. You research it and then you find out if it works for you. And then you will find out how it really works for you, right? Yes, it's you can still have keep your, because you can't say I'm gonna close this one down and then dissolve this one and do that. No, unless you're going to dissolve the whole thing, but you can leave that there and still have another one. So it's all possible. And hopefully, if it's making sense, guys, drop a 3 if this is making sense, because now I think we're starting to think differently. But I'm hoping what I'm saying is making sense when I'm telling folks to to go where you can really get the information. Is that making sense? Allison Map, how are you? Nurse Allison, what's going on? Calling you Nurse Allison. If this is making sense, like, hey, I'm going to do this thing. Let me go talk. Let me go talk to somebody in your area, or a professional in that sense. And it could make a difference. Thank you, that makes sense, because I'm one that's big on doing that. So that's why when these gurus are speaking and they're making, oh, 1 point something, the same books I'm reading, my mastermind, we've read the same books, we've done the work. And so that they're in the community, because what started to happen, their business started to grow and they know they needed it. Right. And so I'm not here to convince anybody of that. It's just that they, yeah, Allison. Yeah. Yeah, is because they know that it is needed. And there are times too, like, listen, like I said, you are your best investor. There are things that I may want to learn for my business. And I'm like, I don't have that experience. Do you think I have a problem taking a job? Some people just take jobs for 3, 6 months and let me know if this makes sense. You'll see some people, just think of when you were working. There were some people who were there. It's not like they weren't really invested. They're just there to say they got the experience, right? They just came to see how it was. And I'm one of those people, if I'm going to put anything on my resume, okay, even if I only worked in that space 3 months or 6 months, whatever, I want to make sure that I've done it. Because if you're going to be the owner, especially with some of the jobs, it doesn't mean you have to do everything, but you want to have an understanding of where people were. So I've never worked as a home health aide. I've never worked as a CNA. I told you guys I worked in the airline industry, but it was still taking care of people. It was more in the hospitality phase of it. So I never did any of that. But I went into nursing because it's a long story how I always wanted to be a nurse and decided to go back to nursing school. It might have been 28 or something like that. All right. So I wasn't, I wasn't, but I knew in my heart what I wanted to do. And so working my way up from telemetry to CCU and, an emergency room where I fell in love with it because it was just so crazy. And it just fit my personality. I'm like, oh my God, all this is coming in, that's coming in. And so when I started my agency, I've never really had home care. So what do? I became the home care nurse. And I loved it. I actually loved connecting with my patients. They didn't have to know who owned the company. They didn't have to know nothing, right? Could I hire other nurses? Yeah. But I also cared so much about my patients and speaking to the family members. I needed to know how, what they were thinking and how best can we serve them. And that all the hospitality and all of that stuff came back. It came back to help me. So many of your experiences when you go into a business, if it makes sense, if it makes sense, it's when you go into a business, it can make a huge thing. All right, guys, what is this, Nitya? Uh Yeah, maybe you want to talk to Els offline about that because I want to make sure people are getting the I want people to get the right information. You were asking some business questions there. So maybe you want to connect with her just to make sure you guys have the right information in the right order in what you're doing. Because I'm not giving business advice here. Please, with YouTube. I just got monetized, y'all. Look down to your lower right. There may be a dollar bill there, a dollar something. But yeah, it's good to, like I said, have the conversation. So my thing is this. It's, and it's really, I just believe that with our businesses we can just do so much. And it's fun here on YouTube. I'm learning all the things that they do allow and what they don't want. So that's another thing too. So when you've started out, oh, ER is fun. Oh my gosh, Allison, it is fun. I love it. you know, I know that's right because let me tell you guys, I'm reading these things here in YouTube. I told you that listen, I got it. I think I noticed I got it since April 6th. Since April 6th. I just didn't have the not that I didn't have the time. I'm like I'm sitting down. So I went and I pulled some things off and I just so if my live section looks cray cray, it just looks like that, Thank you. And it's that so that was since I think April 6th might have been a Monday. And I look up, I said, oh, that's it. So just to sit down and when you're reading through, they're scanning everything, guys. They are not playing. Thank you, Els. Thank you, guys. They are not playing here on YouTube. So that's why if you hear me use a disclaimer, I definitely am. And there's certain things that being in, like I said, what I do and having been in the music side of things with the artists and so forth, there's certain things I see a lot of us are doing and don't know the consequences behind it. And I just don't do it. It's not being selfish. There's just something. And after a while, guys, you're going to have to protect yourself, your home. You're going to have to protect your legacy, So it's worth finding out those information. Oh yeah, I was reading through this stuff. I was like, when I saw it again, I was like, what? And there were some other things that they were they're very clear about what we are doing. Maybe it was there before, and I've never seen it, but they want to make sure that we're doing something. When whatever we're doing, we're teaching. It has sense. It has a reason. Like the ASMR, there are people who really thrive on that. I listen to them. I listen to Rain. I listen to stuff that helps me to sleep. So I know some of the things that I do, I'm not just doing them. I understand why I'm doing it because there's a reason. It's like the thing that has helped you. How can you be innovative enough to say you can help someone else? Many of you, I play your stuff in my home. I'll put on, oh, Els. Oh, wow, Els. Oh, thank you. Wow, thank you. Wow. Thank you. Us givers, when we get, because we're so used to giving, we're so used to giving. When we receive, we have to learn how to receive that, and may it come back 100-fold to you. I really, really mean it. And that's one of the things when I look at what's happening in our world right now and even in our country. And there's so many people I know who are givers and they never really talk about it. And life gives you whatever you ask of it. And I remember during the pandemic, one of my I have two Instagram account. One is my very personal account with my family. I'll put some pictures of my family. Then R into CEO is the public one. And there was a young couple who relocated to Jamaica. The woman, the wife is they're very young. She is college educated. She returned home and she wanted to live a natural life for her and her husband and her two children. And the family weren't so crazy about them doing that. And I saw some things that they posted, and the reason why, haven't really spoken about it. They said they only wanted a certain amount per month, and they wanted to live off the land, teach their children about all the stuff. They're feeding their kids, they're schooling them. The kids look good. They're planting their own little garden and stuff and things that they needed, like they had an Amazon list. And I was like, you know what? They didn't ask for a whole lot. But I said, God, if I could bless them every month, I have not since, I think since, is it 2020? It's still going, just making sure. So when you, part of your business, when you do that, guys, when you do it, you will see that you, and other stuff I don't have to talk about, right? And many of you are doing amazing things you don't talk about. One of the things about entrepreneurship is this: if your clients don't pay you, Pinky, how are you going to pay all your bills, right? You also, now you're the chief cook and bottle washer. So now everything is on you. And then when I started to think of it, I said, a huge portion of my business is so that I'll be able to bless others. So that I'll be able to bless others. And so I'm like, no, you're not going to play with my business, because this is why God ordained it. This is why he gave me this. This is what I decided to decree and declare, that a huge portion of what I do should be able. Now, everybody may not be able to do that, or you have your 10%. So, you do what you do with it. But you look at it and I'm like, no, oh no, they're messing with how I use this to bless other people. And so when you start to think of it that way, then we have to understand now the relationship with money. Am I making sense, Allison? It's the relationship with it, because givers, I'm going to tell you, I know all of us are like this. When we can't give, the way we want to give, we want to get it. Like, no, it's not supposed to be this way, right? Because we like to do that way. But when it comes in this way, it's saying like, wow, and it's the law of reciprocity, right? And so that's how I looked at it to do it. That was my thing. I'm here to bless people. I will give a lot of information. When you give wholeheartedly, it always comes back to you tenfold. Listen, yes, absolutely. It's true. And we all in here believe that. When you give, and sometimes, it's just a beautiful thing. You don't feel any way about it. Then you'll get a phone call. Sometimes you'll get a phone call like, hey, can you come in? Let's do this. So-and-so has a check for you, or whatever. And I always want to make sure that I do the work. And people have to understand this too. When you think you're holding on, when people try to dangle business with money, that ain't gonna work with me. Because one thing I will tell you, Sharon is resourceful. When God has given you the knowledge, Meritage Shades of Light, thank you. She's in the house, right? When God gives you this knowledge, if somebody will tell me right now, oh, they can't do this, when it say you can manifest, you better believe it. When you say you can manifest that thing, I'm not talking about no hocus pocus. I'm talking about through prayer. When you can manifest it, God will give you the clarity. He will give you the clarity. I need to do this. We speak about moving into the future. And I had a situation and I'm like, listen, these things need to happen. The people, whenever you're working with people and they make the money itself to be uncomfortable, and wherever I feel it in my body, I have to learn how to release it, because that's how your blessing will be blocked, because you're losing focus. You're worrying about these folks who are like, this tiptoeing and dangling this thing. I don't play that. No, it's like That's no fun because you're thinking that you're blocking me when in fact you're just being annoying, right? I'm speaking to entrepreneurs after a while that, that does happen. And like, okay, whatever their situation is, Lord, let them work it out. And then you move further and then you become more resourceful. Like, what can I do? What do I have? That's what I'm talking about, Marvella. So I picked up the phone. Marvella, and I said, I don't want people to think I don't got no money, but listen, these invoices and when you got pay, when you got things to take care of, things need to be taken care of. Sometimes as entrepreneurs, you may not even be able to pay yourself, but you pay yourself. I don't care if it's $10 or whatever. You can work it out where you can pay yourself, right? But still, when there are things to be taken care of quarterly, they're just super duper things, right? And it's not impossible. But then when you start to look at it and it said, okay, I have things that I'm scheduled to do coming into the future. Oh, you want me here and there? I'll call. Certainly, I can show up. And anybody watching this, straight up, okay, so you want me to come so and so? We can talk about the deposit. What did I say? I manifested that money, right? Because it was already there. It's into the future. And they will be like, oh, okay, so what do you need for that? Boom, boom, contract, send it. Boom. That's what I'm telling you. Because sometimes too, that's where through prayer, that's where through being still, you can think, I said, wait a minute, I got these 2 gigs coming up. All right. And sometimes too, God will put in front of you the people with their faith. Their faith. It's not so much, I sent somebody text, it's not their finance, it's their faith. You will see people who are doing certain things. And when you understand their faith in God, it makes you look different because sometimes it'll bring people up in front of you and it's not competing. See, I don't deal with the competing and the comparisons. If this is making sense, you will look at someone and you say, okay, so what is the lesson? What am I supposed to learn from that? That's why I'm telling you, everybody here, we learn from each other. Today I had a beautiful day. I was looking at paintings. Oh my gosh. Oh, my Healthy Kitchen Wizard. She paints these beautiful pastel colors and just, oh my goodness, it was just like, then I'm listening to Nitya with the music, then it was Wisdom Sparks, and yesterday was It's Marvella, and I was just watching other, and I'm just like, oh my God, I just feel so blessed, so just so, and now that's God, yeah, and so I'm listening to the music, and then I'm being inspired, like, oh, I got this stuff that I need to finish up, and somebody said, hey Sharon, um, I got to remember what date, but I know I'm clear for the date. And she said, I need a picture for you because I'm hosting an event for her. Right. And then God just, these opportunities, they will start to come up. So we just have to be in tune and just to be clear. And so those are from seeds that were planted. So that's why I'm saying that it's important that you invest because when you invest like that, it's not even so much the money, it's to show that you're showing up in integrity, right? And it's for me, the people that I have to release, I will always do the work. I'm one of those people, I will give you more than you even bargained for. And that's how I've been able. That's how I've been able, because I said what? I will under promise and over deliver. But I'm going to give you everything. You could ask me any question. Boom, boom, my clients, boom. What do you need? This is that, right? Still have access. Why? Because especially when you're able to see the gifting of people and they recognize that and they honor what you're doing. Honor is really important in both ways. The integrity and to honor what you're doing. And then when you do that, people will pour in even more. People will pour in even more because if one starts to understand that the work that you're supposed to do is supposed to touch and change the lives of other people, you will start to understand that the abundance that's promised to you, it's already there. So that's what I'm talking about, the manifestation. Where's Valentine? Good night. Have us to catch some sleep. Catch the replay on this, Valentine. Yes, please do. Right. And so it's the blessing of God, just the blessing. And so when you do good work for people, your word of mouth is either can make you or break you. And when you do good work for folks and you really want them to win, they have no choice but to speak well of you. But people have to show up, or should choose to show up to do the work, right? You would have to choose to show up to do the work. And when you start to do it, the highs and the lows, and then you'll say, this is what I went through. I could put it into a list of things. And then if somebody else wants that information, I can support them. I can support them with it. Sharon, I have done that all my life. Yeah, I pour into folks. I only get to the point when now I don't even ask people. I got to get back out there with my marketing, because I wanted the right people. So in different seasons, you will have different types of clients, right? And you will just, it's different seasons. They're different seasons. They're ministries, 501c3. 501c3 should be making money. Not financial advice here, and I don't, but I'm just saying, because let's just say, because it's a nonprofit doesn't mean it's not that you don't profit. What is it that you do, and what do you need it for, right? And so there are things that you do to make that happen. But I'm just saying, when you pour into others, it'll come back to you. It'll come back to you. It'll come back to your family. It will come up to your children. Because I'm telling you guys, every time I come here and I put out information there, more comes back. More comes back. That's the way to do it. Yeah, always. I don't see any problems with giving, but I also tell folks there's a responsibility to for you to sow back into your business, really sow into it, because you're going to reap the rewards. You're going to understand. And one of the things is this. I've worked with a lot of coaches. One of the things I always tell them, and this is what I learned also, even if you were working with people and they're multi-millionaires, right? You never want to think like, oh, they don't need that money. Oh, they can miss a few bucks. They can miss this and that. You would never want to think that way. You would never want that to happen. And so there's certain folks, their mind will revert to that. And I said, God, I don't want to work with those folks anymore, because if they understand what it takes to move these ships, right, to make them work, and how it affects you personally, okay? Oh, yes, they do. Some of them, and you can find that information, it's online. One of the most popular ones that we all give to, they make huge money. I'm part of a nonprofit where we take nothing from it, and it's all volunteer. It's an all voluntary board and members. We take nothing from our nonprofits. That's God's law. Yes, the law of reciprocity. We will reap the harvest and the rewards. Yes, Meritage. Yes. Yes. And so some people will use it as such, and they know why. That's why I'm telling you guys, when I tell you to go speak to some folks and you sit down there and have a conversation with them, you'll understand why those people make big bucks. You'll understand why they do, because it's a business also. The ministry is small and I don't make big bucks. The ministry can be blessed, and there can be folks who want to bless it based upon yeah, it can be, and it depends on what are you willing to do, and what is it that you need. So it's there. But yeah, and but you know what, there are different ways to minister. Some people will need the word. um I've never, like I said, I didn't go that route, and I had my reasons why. But when I'm seeing a lot of people are getting what you call miracles, signs, and wonder, and I'm saying I'm glad that they're getting it, but I would like people outside of it to get that. But it's been years of prayers. It's been years of, and many of you, I Cherish Church, it's Marvella. when you are preaching, you are pretty much coaches, you're pretty, it's so much responsibility, and you actually have, see that? And it's, yeah, it is responsibility, because there are things still needs to be taken care of. And then I don't, and then again, who's your team, like who supports you? So you still have people that will support you. Either they're going to support the ministry, or the ministry have to make enough money where they can pay folks. So that's another thing. um we will reap the harvest. Yes. My ministry is small, but I don't. But you do have a building. Okay. And yeah, so it's like, what do you want to do with the building? Do you have physical service in the building? Does somebody else use the building? Are there other things in it? So much, it depends on the questions, like I said. It depends. But yeah, the responsibilities come because it's on you. And sometimes too, you have to show up, because you'll just have people say, oh yeah, pay this, pay that, pay that. Just remember, there's some people in the offices nowadays are just sending stuff out. Okay. And I told you about my how many $1,000 bills paid in full, right? And then there are people, I just looked at something the other day, and I'm looking at it. I said, this is not even my information. There are people right now, guys, when you get stuff, you better just start looking at it and making sure before you leave that that's your name on it. And so that's why I'm saying some people may not even want to answer your questions. I've gone into banks that are playing games because somebody know they're getting ready to quit. So they didn't want to give me what I needed for my business because they weren't going to be there to collect it. So they figured that the bank will just lose everything. So there are people who are doing different things for different reasons. And you're going to have to say, you know what, let me do my homework. Let me go through this, because this is my business. What is it that I choose to do? And how can I get the support, that's needed? Because when it's all one person, it's a lot. And then you want to have a business too, that if I'm not there, can it run itself? But right now, many of us are doing things online. I like the online version too. I like to do things online because um, it's just different. And I love the flexibility. I love my flexibility. So that to me is huge. So you'd have to just figure out, how do I, when you have a brick and mortar, and it's Marvella, like you have a building, things are a little bit different, but who's going to support you and help you with that? And finding the right people, finding the right team. Oh my goodness. Even right now, as small as your business may be, you still may need some form of support. Then you will figure out, what do you need first. So I'm saying all of this to say that what we are doing, we really think about it. I love online. I do too. I went to church on Sunday. I listened to you before I went to church, because we are at the 1:45 service. No, the 12:45. Yeah, my time, 12:45. So right after you ended, I was just driving to church. But we do have online. But some days I just like to, I like to go in. So we have the online. But and there are people who can't make it out. So, it's and when I look at my church, how they do things to make it work online, a lot of people did get comfortable. Yes. Oh, nice. Yeah. So when you have a team, oh gosh, that's a whole nother thing, right? When you have a team, you need, like you said, you have strong people, and you need them who understand the vision and the mission of what you are doing. That's the thing, to get others who can see the vision. And once they're able to do that, it makes what you are doing, oh, so much better. My God. Yeah, so yeah, let's just think about what we're doing, which direction we're going to go in, how we're going to support it. Guys, if you haven't, and you haven't given me a thumbs up, please do so. As you can see, you could buy a cup of coffee or tea but I had my tea, Meritage. I had my um, hibiscus tea. But I love it. I love this community here. That's right. Elden Deborah said, that's good, Marvilla, that you have 5 people you can depend on. That is huge. That's big. So, guys, yeah, let's look at how we're choosing to do things, the direction we want to go in, the information that's needed. Reach out to the professionals, and especially if there's something that you need to know from them so that you can, put things together and make sure that your business runs smoothly. So when you monetize, you take it to the next level. Really appreciate you all. Thank you all for being here. I'm going to say good night, everybody. I really appreciate it. Until next time, take care now. Bye bye.